No, it wasn't that hard because again, we're all very lucky now to have the internet and Google. And if you're looking for a quote, a specific Old Testament quote, there's the one I read just now in the excerpt about his quiver being filled with the improbable. So if you look up improbable or unlikely, you can come across the quotes that
Miedoso.
most fit you. And in terms of using them a lot, there's a biography of Jesus written, I think it's called Zealot, that I read for the book. And there's an aspect of it that I didn't particularly appreciate and didn't like, which was the idea that Jesus was probably illiterate. Um, I think the author tried too hard to make it seem like there was this very uneducated Jew who became this important figure. And from my study of 2,000 years ago, it would seem to me that any young man, in particular, women were a different topic, but any young man who showed an ability and showed charisma that Jesus must have had, we know he must have been extremely charismatic to attract such a following, that anyone who showed these abilities would have been trained by the teachers of the day, the rabbis. And what would they have trained him in? The Old Testament. And so in my version, he's not at all illiterate. He knows the Old Testament extremely well. And this is in the New Testament as well. When Jesus comes into Jerusalem riding on a donkey, that is to fulfill the prophecy of Zechariah. He would have known about the prophecy of Zechariah. He would have known about the schools of mysticism in the Holy Land back then. And so that was very important for me in the construction of Jesus, to be able to use Old Testament quotes, because I don't want to do a spoiler, but in my book, Jesus and Lazarus are childhood friends who both studied with the rabbis, and both of them learned to rely on the Old Testament and to use it to express their ideas and thoughts.